his face and his presence can give. Because we live in a world that makes God look like an interruption to your fulfilling your destiny. No, in him we live. Is that not in your Bible? In him we move, and in him we have our being. What happens to a fish when it refuses to stay in water? What happens to a bird when it ignores the air and the tree? What happens to a tree if it refuses to be planted to the earth? What happens to man if he refuses the presence of God? That's the logic. If a fish rejects water, it dies. It may not die immediately, but it dies. If the bird rejects the air and the trees, it dies. If the tree rejects the earth, it dies. If man rejects the presence of his maker, he dies. I tell you this, he dies. He dies financially. He dies relationally. You see, now it's only that death is slower. You see how a fan rotates? Even when you put off the switch, it doesn't stop immediately for most of them. It will still rotate a bit and then finally come to an end. Many lives have come to an end, and sometimes your diagnosis can be that my life is failing because I have no job. Is the obvious answer, but not the right one. My life is failing because my husband is misbehaving. No. When you examine everything correctly, you will find out that things are falling apart because you threw away one who was supposed to be the highest priority in your life. Listen, lose your job, but keep his presence. You are still in place. I'm not insulting you, it's the truth. Let every helper leave you, but keep his presence.
Sharing the
you are
gospel.
Still advantage. But you have every other thing, and that's what Satan wants. That's the bargain. When Satan comes to you, he gives you an option. I fight everything in your life if you still want him, or I keep everything in your life if you will lose him. Satan is a wise businessman. He knows how to bargain. I can keep your relevance, your job, your friends, sycophants, everyone. Just take Jesus out of your life. I rather lose ministry and keep his presence. I rather lose reputation and keep his presence. Because sincerely, if you have his presence, nothing leaves. He is the creator. It will eventually return back. The story of Job teaches us the power of keeping his presence. Everything fell apart in Job's life. Children, they didn't go missing. They died. They died. His wealth went down. In one day, ladies and gentlemen, not 10 years, not 20 years, one day. You describe for me such a man who loses his children in one day, his relevance one day, his estate one day. Do you know what happens to the emotions of such a man? You are damaged mentally. Most people will fall dead immediately. So don't give me an excuse that is because you don't have a job. Learn from Job, the richest man in the East. And the wife said, you know what? Here's my recommendation. Curse God and die. And Job said, no. This is the one person I have. The friend that sticks closer than a brother. When I lose, I'll be in pain, but let me cry in his presence. When people reject me, I'll be in pain, but let me cry in his presence. Who is learning? The kinds of people, listen, the kinds of people who God will use as a battle axe will be men and women who have a sworn covenant that no amount of prosperity, no amount of pain, no amount of increase will ever take them away from the Lord. I'm showing you a very powerful secret. When God can find you in that position, then there is nothing he will not give you.
Sharing the gospel.
Most times you see, people come to God from a standpoint of need. And need can create falsehood. Lord, I love you. I will serve you all the days of my life. Just give me a job. Just give me a wife. Give me a husband. Give me children. Something happens to men when they are in need. They lie. They don't lie because they are evil. They lie because they are human. They lie. You watch people in need. It's going to take God to trust what they are telling you. Lord, I will love you all the days of my life. Just give me this $1 million. I will give you 500 if I don't, just kill me. You know, believers say all kinds of things.
Fungus Bell, sharing the gospel.